It is good. It is good. Words of God said just before evening. Then it was evening, and now God has gifted us with a brand new day. A brand new day. This is the Reverend Dr. Laverne, Corrine, Williams Foster Hall, Harvey Brown Fontaine, Turner, Hill, Holtz, McCain, Cash. Matthew, the 14th chapter, verses 13 through 21. Jesus feeds the 5,000. When Jesus heard what had happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and healed their sick. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have here only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them to me," he said, and he directed the people to sit down on the grass. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Enough left over. Enough left over. Let me share a story with you this morning that really brings this home to me. As the leaves started to fall here in my front yard, I have a huge maple tree. And every single morning when I'd get up, there would be just massive leaves all over the place. Beautiful leaves, browns and ambers and golds, just beautiful leaves. And by the time I returned home in the evening, the leaves would be gone. And then when I would get up the next morning, leaves all over the place, just like the day before. And it came to me then that, there is always enough for everybody. Even when the supply is gone, there is more that just keeps coming. We always have enough. There were leaves, I had more leaves than you could think of, enough to just go and give some to the neighbors. So, what I am drawn to this morning in this passage about feeding the 5,000 is that there is more than enough for everybody. But in this day and age, this generation that we are in the midst of, it seems that there are those who have and continue to want more and will deny those who don't have want it all, We want it all. We want it all. We want it all. It's as if there is a daily chant. A daily chant. We want it all. We gotta have it all. We want it all. We want it all. But we know that there is enough for everybody. And so I'm embracing within the palms of my prayers on this day that as our cups continue to overflow, that as we work in the will and in the way of God, that our steps will be ordered to do that which God wants us to do with our overflow. It says here that there was enough left over. There was enough left over to feed some more. And we have, whether we choose to believe it or not, God gives us what we need plus more. And it says here that God lifted, gave thanks, and then blessed. So indeed, let us keep these words tucked into our hearts and allow them to overflow as God sees fit within our daily lives. This is what I have embraced in the palms of my prayers all day long today. And it's just it's also spiritual faith and just remembering and remembering that God is here with us. God is here with us. And so let us lift our hands, give thanks and praise, and we know, we have confidence, we have faith that the blessings will come down enough for those that God puts in our paths every single day. So as we lift and give thanks to God and praises, we know that we will be blessed so much that we will be able to hear God say just before evening, it is good. It is good. This is the Reverend Dr. Laverne Corrine Williams Foster Hall Harvey Brown Turner Hill Holt McCain Cash. Let us in unity and in unison lift our hands and our hearts to God, praising and thanking God, knowing and having faith that blessings will come down in overflow measure, enough for us to share with others that God puts in our paths. So let's just go on out and just do what it is that God has ordained us to do, knowing that our blessings will overflow. Our cups will overflow. So let us just go on out and be prepared to do that which God has ordained us to do. Whether it's a prayer, whether it's a smile, we always can have plenty of smiles to give out. Maybe that's all that somebody needs today is a smile, a pat on the back. So let's just go on out, be discerning, and do that which God wants us to do.